I'm Tony Ruiz, contributing editor at Gold Derby, here with Tina Clark and Tim Heintz, the composers behind the Waltons' Homecoming, which is a remake of the classic film and television series of the 1970s. And either one of you can jump in with this. You know, this is. I'm going to just jump right into what I think is kind of the most important question, which is, you know, this theme. The theme for this show is just one of those iconic theme songs that, you know, people hear it and they know exactly what it is. Does that present a challenge to you? Does it present an opportunity? How did you feel in tackling something that so many people are already familiar with?
Well, obviously it was, at first, you know, it's like to follow in anybody's footsteps. And like you said, of something that's already so iconic. But I feel what Tim and I wrapped our head around and really created and went after was something that was going to honor that theme and respect that theme, and at the same time move forward to today and what the emotions that it evoked for us of that time and place, and have a new theme and characters having new themes to themselves. And so I felt like once we got past the part of, oh my God, you know, we never looked at how do we do better than this? We looked at how do we honor this and move forward?
Yeah, and I think, you know, what we ended up doing with that, you know, the original one, it's trumpet, you know, it's that beautiful trumpet solo. And we obviously didn't want to do that. We don't want to try to copy and do the same thing. So moving it forward, you know, we did it with piano. And as, you know, as this movie opens, it's a very kind of reflective piano version under, you know, Richard Thomas kind of setting up the whole story. And, you know, so then we developed it with strings, and it kind of became its own sound. And that also helped kind of inform the sound of the movie, because there's a lot of, you know, very simple piano stuff. And so it was a good jumping off point for us as well.
So, you know, when you have, you know, two people working as composers, how did the two of you work together?
Horribly. No.
Terrible. We'll never do it again.
Well, like we were just talking, and, you know, Tina, we've been doing some working together for a long time, a little, you know, so many years.
3 decades.
Yeah, a long time. So we know each other pretty well. We've been through a lot of stuff, and, you know, it's just very collaborative. And, you know, we just kind of start throwing ideas out. What do you think? And, you know, sometimes I'll play something on the piano and Tina goes, I like that. You know, that's great. And we'll kind of run with that. Or Tina will come up with a melody and, you know, sing something. And it's just a little back and forth. And it's just we just have this kind of shorthand because we know each other so well. And we've done so much stuff together over the years.
Look, we've known each other even before our children were born, and our children are grown and married now in some way. So we've, when I met Tim decades ago, I just thought he was one of the most incredible pianists I'd ever heard. And I was always been a writer producer as well as Tim. And, you know, we just kind of fell in love musically. And like Tim said, we have one of those relationships. I'm sure you've heard this with other collaborators before, that we know what each other thinks, but, you know, after that many years, no matter what we're working on, if it's a record, if it's film, if it's TV, or if it's a commercial, whatever, we know what each other kind of is already thinking. So easy would be an understatement as far as the collaborative process.
So how did this project come to you? And you know, when you're confronted with the Waltons, do you immediately just jump in and say yes?
Well, it came to us from the producers, executive producers and producer, Sam Haskell and Hudson Hickman, who I've known for years and years in LA, but we all have something very strong in common, and that is that we're all from Mississippi. So we have kind of like this Mississippi bond. And when Sam called and said, we would really like for you guys, we think you're perfect for this. Would you be interested? And, you know, I called Tim and we talked about it. And, you know, of course, we were thrilled with the opportunity. Just to be candid, the only thing we were kind of pausing with was we had a very short time period. And we were like, this is a lot of music, big orchestra, a lot of writing, a lot of arranging. Can we do our very best work in this short amount of time? And sometimes you come out with a better project because you don't have too much time to think about it. But no, that's how it came about. And I don't think either one of us ever hesitated other than the timing.
Yeah, because it was a very tight schedule. But I think, Tina, I think you're right. So many times you just have to do it. You jump in and you have to go and you just hit the ground running. You get some momentum, and there's sometimes a clarity in the creative process when you don't have a lot of time to overthinking. You just kind of go with your gut, and it's very instinctual. And fortunately, everyone responded positively to it, because it could have gone another way, But yeah, you just kind of and we just got in a flow really easily on this one.
And I also feel that, I know that Tim talked to his wife about it, and I talked to my wife and was like, oh boy, this is a short time period. And my wife said to me, but it's so iconic. How can you say no? And then it kind of just all made sense for me. And I think Tim had the same reaction from his wife, Sharon. And it was like, okay, whatever we have to do to make this happen, we're going to make it happen. Because I loved the Waltons, back in the 70s. It just brings I feel like at this time in this country and where we live, and that just to be able to sit and watch something that's not really controversial and that your whole family can watch it, I just feel like it's something that is really needed during this time in this place. The simplicity.
And you go back to, say 1971, when the original Homecoming film with Patricia Neal, aired. One of the things I think people forget is that this is also a Christmas movie. This is also, and so did you have conversations about, yes, this is the Waltons, but this is also a Christmas movie, and bringing that kind of holiday flavor to it?
There was a little bit, part of the story centers around homecoming for the holiday, and there's a Christmas scene and presents and singing Silent Night at the church. So it was just part of it. But the entirety of the show, other than the fact John is coming home for Christmas, it's really not musically. It didn't thread through the whole movie, this Christmas theme. But there was certainly part of it was very important part of the story.
And I have to say too that it was Sam Haskell was amazing in working with us and kind of, giving us his take on that element of it, Tony. Like, no, this is not about all Christmas, or I want something really big and emotional here. And, I've worked with so many directors in the past and producers that it's all about, from a composer standpoint, I think Tim and I feel that it's all about translation of what you're translating that from what, because a lot of times producers and directors, they don't know the language of music. So they're trying to tell you what kind of emotion is here, even though maybe that's not on the page. So he was super. He was a superstar with us, and really encouraging. And I have to say, at the end of the day, there's a lot of times I'll finish something, or Tim, I'm sure on his own, or we'll finish something together. We'll go, yeah, it's good. But with this, we were both very, very happy and felt like that we captured the authenticity and the simplicity and emotion of those characters in that time, and that we did the best. It's like when you can finish a project and say, we did the very best we could and we're happy with it. That's not every time, but this one we did.
Was there a particular scene or a moment that posed a particular challenge in terms of, getting to that, what you were just talking about?
Well, probably the biggest one we struggled a little bit with. There's a reveal of the white buck, right, Tina? Remember that one? And we struggled for a long time because it was this, we had this, it's a CGI thing they were trying to work on, and get that all right. And so really trying to get the emotion, and we just couldn't quite feel it because they had a coat hanger.
A stick with a coat hanger as antler.
And that's what we had to kind of work with. And just to try to kind of, they go, no, this needs to be bigger than life. And it's like, this is this amazing moment. And it just took us a while to kind of really get our arms around it and feel that one. But we did. So that was tough. But kind of the best part was really trying to come up with these themes, various themes for the characters, and so much of the music you hear these days is, it's all just kind of textures and drones, and that's kind of the style right now. And we really go, no, we need melodic themes to like thread through all these different characters, so you really get an emotional attachment to them. And that was really the kind of the beautiful part of working on this, is we came up with some neat themes, and we're able to really help tell the story musically too. So
was there one character that their theme just kind of came to you kind of immediately?
Yeah, I would say, Tim, wouldn't you say John Boy?
Yes. Well, which one I thought the best, and it's when John Boy and John the dad are towards the end of the movie, when they're kind of like have a little this going on through the movie. It's understated. It's the Waltons, so it's not very angsty, but it's under an undertone of they've got some issues. So at the end of the movie, we're about 2/3 of the way through. They're sitting in the truck and they're going on a drive, and there's just this beautiful father and son moment. And we're sitting in the studio, and Tina just she goes, I got this melody, and started humming this beautiful melody. It was like a 3/4 melody, and it just really was great. And we did it with acoustic guitar and fiddle, and it was just really a beautiful moment for that scene, and the characters and kind of what was going on. That's my favorite.
Yeah. And really, I think another favorite of mine is when John Boy was the moment that he has with the male lady that comes on the horse, and when they're smitten with each other, but it's kind of like a first thing. And when they're standing at that horse, that moment, and she gives him that book and that note, that always just sent me, over the top. I loved that scene.
Yeah,
I'm kind of mush anyway.
And again, that just it's just simple piano, and there was just like it wasn't rushed, and just kind of played the space. It was that's a beautiful moment.
Well, and that actually feeds into something I'm always curious about, is how, as composers, do you decide what the sound of a scene, whether it's going to be something big and lush and orchestral versus those kind of just simple choices? How do you decide on like instrumentation?
Well, I think it just kind of depends. You kind of try, but I know when it's when you're really trying to build the emotion and build something big, obviously you want to have more going on. You want to have that swell of the orchestra. But when it's something like this scene with John Boy and the girl, and it's very intimate and it's quiet. You don't want too much going on, and you want space. So just a little bit, like we say, the solo piano there was great. We did a lot of acoustic guitar, and that also, part of the reason for doing the acoustic guitar, fiddle, mandolin, those kind of instruments, this is set in the Appalachians, and it's just really, it's not like it was a period piece we were trying to do, but it's the sound of that region, and it just kind of takes you there, even though it's kind of subliminal. We're not hitting you over the head with it. It's just oh yeah, that little mandolin, you feel that. So yes, that makes sense.
And also I feel that, like Tim spoke of earlier, that so many scores now are more about sound effects and synth, you know, that we felt like that. And from day one, I had said to Sam, you know, Tim and I just feel that I said, the only thing I can reference, and it's not that, but is I absolutely love and have loved This Is Us. And I think the score in that is really, really great. And I feel like it does not get in the way. And I feel like anytime that you're watching a film or television, that and you're distracted by something that is happening with the score, the composer, I don't feel like you're doing your job, because it just needs to be something that is, everything needs to be moving in emotion, as you're saying, Tony. It's just got to move that moment, whether it's up tempo or whether it's, you know, more of a ballad or a piano guitar or full, you know, 40-something piece orchestra. And so it started we started getting into this ebb and flow. And once I feel like that we had the characters' themes defined, and that was a lot of fun, writing a theme basically loosely for each character. That it was really like a quilt, because you were weaving this in and out of that. And I think in this next one that, you know, that you will, of course, you're going to hear those themes again, along with another new score. I'm
so glad you brought that up, because, you know, it's just been announced that the next movie for the Thanksgiving holiday is in production right now. And I was going to ask, what do you want to, how are you approaching this next chapter?
Well, I think it's like a record, you know, when an artist does a record and you think, oh my God, I was so happy with that last record. How can I ever do that again? And I think that for, maybe I'll speak to for myself. I don't know how you feel, Tim, but I just hope that we can continue the warmth and emotion of the score as we did in the first one. And there are some lighter moments in this one, but that we can just, you know, in other words, I truly believe in sound DNA, meaning that whenever you're watching, whether you walk into a store and hear music, or whether you're with a brand, or whether you're watching a TV show, that you don't have to, you can be in another room and know that that's that TV show. I can be in another room and know that it's the This Is Us or Law and Order or whatever it may be. And I just hope that we can, you know, keep that continuity in this one.
Yeah, I think we want to just grow from that, you know, the same, like you say, that sound DNA of this, and kind of keep the vibe going that we have. And there's a certain sound, you know, the instruments, the themes will carry some of that forward. And I'm sure there'll be some new stuff to just kind of develop in a way that makes sense for the picture.
Well, I can't wait.
Me too.
I can't wait at all. Everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for the Emmys, and stay tuned for interviews with more contenders throughout the season. Tim Heintz, Tena Clark from the Waltons Homecoming, thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Tony.